I used to watch this YouTube channel about paranormal topics all the time. It had a weird name like Paranormal Headquarters Television, or something like that. Just what you would expect a YouTube channel of that genre to be called. Whenever I was working on something on the computer, I would always have the narration of the videos going on in the background. I even talked about this channel with my friends and family. Of course, many of them just rolled their eyes and didn't give the channel a watch. They didn't share my interest in the paranormal, but always supported my strange obsession with it. I've always been into learning about the mysterious and unexplained mysteries of the world. The weirder the topic, the better. You might say that I've had plenty of paranormal experiences in my life, so learning about people who have gone through similar things was a bit of a comfort. I continued my ritual of logging onto YouTube and listening to this channel for a year. I learned about every topic possible, from the Marfa Lights to the skunk ape. Not one paranormal topic went untouched. At the beginning of the new year, the channel narrator started a new series about paranormal experiences that he had personally gone through. It had its own little playlist, so I started listening to that playlist more than the main channel, because I love hearing people's personal paranormal experiences more than anything else. I listened to him talk about all sorts of things, from lizard men to spotting Bigfoot in the woods. But one day, logging into YouTube and going about my usual ritual, I immediately noticed that something was amiss. The new video playlist didn't have the same audio quality as the other videos. It was grainy and scratchy, and the other parts of the audio couldn't be heard altogether. In the audio that did get through, sentences like, "I may not return again after this," and "I found something I shouldn't have," peeked through the noise every once in a while. I figured this was just a jump scare video or something, so I didn't pay much attention to it. This was a channel that focused on the scary end of things, after all. But the next time I went to find the channel, it had completely disappeared. No matter where I searched for it, on YouTube, Google, on every other search engine I can think of, it was nowhere to be found. Even the website that I would occasionally visit had completely disappeared. It was like it had never existed. The weirdest thing is that when I would talk to people about the YouTube channel in an attempt to get some kind of information from others about what had happened to it, no one would know what I was talking about. Even the friends and family I had shared the YouTube channel with had no idea what I was talking about when I brought the topic up. Eventually, I gave up trying to find the channel. I thought that maybe I had really just imagined the whole thing. I tried not to think about it, but then when I was browsing for paranormal channels to watch, a video with the narrator of Paranormal Headquarters popped up in one of my search results. I clicked the video right away without even reading the caption. The video played and turned out to be a news story. It was dated, having been broadcasted a year earlier. In the news story, the lady on screen talked about the narrator, who I had learned was named Corey Felton in real life. Corey had apparently gone to a party with some friends and disappeared shortly after. They had launched an investigation into the disappearances, but as of the date of the broadcast, no one had seen or heard from him. This intrigued me, so I looked up the follow-up news stories about Corey Felton. They progressed throughout the year, talking about how no matter how many search parties had set out to find Corey, no one could find him. The last news story said that due to the length of the disappearance, it was assumed that Corey might be dead, but they were still keeping up hope that they would find him. All of this information was almost too much to process. While Corey was supposedly missing, I had somehow been watching a YouTube channel narrated by him. Could it have been that he ran away and was making the YouTube channel from an unknown location? Did he already know that his life was in danger before making the channel? Questions like this rushed through my mind. I thought that I should share what I knew about Corey with the family. They had a website which reached out to the internet community and pleaded for people to give them any leads that they could think of to get their boy home safely. I sent an email talking about everything that I had watched on YouTube in the past year, including his personal playlist about the paranormal. I didn't get a response for a while. But then Corey's mother called me one day out of the blue. She sounded quite excited on the phone and asked me to meet up with her and her family in Bangor, Maine. She said she would pay for the plane ticket, as I lived in Paris, Texas, and insisted that I visit their family, being someone who had information about their son's disappearance. So that's what I did. flew out to Maine to meet with Corey's mother and the rest of their family. When I arrived, his family greeted me with warmth. You could see that they all looked tired and worn out, as if Corey's disappearance had just happened yesterday. After settling in, I went over all the details again. Corey's mother explained how the only object missing from Corey's room was indeed his laptop. He had been researching all sorts of paranormal stuff for a year, and kept insisting that he was going to spread his knowledge to the world. So it made sense that he would make a YouTube channel. Why he would run away and make it was still yet unknown. It was obvious that he had a very loving family, and from what I gathered reading his journals, he had really no problems in school, or with the other people, that would make him want to run away or skip town for any particular reason. I comforted the family the best I could when I was there, and told them that they could always keep in contact with me if they needed someone to talk to. They were grateful for that, and even after I left a week later, I kept in touch with Corey's mother, his father, and his older brother through email or Facebook. Unfortunately, I never was able to find anything else about Corey Felton again. That YouTube channel was the only connection I had with him, and that had long disappeared. However, a few years later, Corey's mother sent me a lengthy email explaining how Corey had returned to them, seemingly lacking any sort of memories from his past or recollection of what had happened to him over the time that he had disappeared. He only showed up at the house because he had been dropped off there by a white van. The local police were looking into the case, but were not coming up with much of anything that could help the family. Corey was slowly adjusting to being at home again, but he was not the same teenage boy that had gone missing. He wasn't interested in paranormal stuff anymore. In fact, he intentionally stayed away from it, or insisted that that stuff wasn't real. He didn't like any of the foods that he had liked in the past. All of his clothing preferences had changed. It was like he was a whole different person. But honestly, this didn't bother the family. They were just happy to have him home. The final email was that last connection I had with the Felton family. They got busy with their own life, and trying to help Corey adjust to being part of the family again. I went back to listening to paranormal shows like usual as I worked on homework from the university, or building one of the websites I did as a side job while going through school. But the strange nature of Corey's disappearance always stuck out in my mind. I would never forget the YouTube channel that he had made, and his final message talking about how he didn't know if he would return after finding out whatever he did about the unknown. It always made me wonder what he had found that would make him fear for his own life, and why he kept running away from his family in the first place. I only know one thing. After seeing what happened to Corey, I'm keeping the paranormal stuff to myself. I mentioned before that lots of weird things have happened to me, but you won't find me talking about them on the internet. At least, not here on the web. Because the internet is one place those people who took Corey are watching, ready to erase the memory of anyone who knows more than they should about the paranormal. If you're a person who likes paranormal things and sharing them with other people like me, let this story be a lesson to you. Keep those stories to yourself. You never know if the men in the white van are watching your every move. If you say too much, erasing your memories might not be the only thing they do to you.